Hi, sixth grade. Welcome back from spring break. Hope you guys all had a great spring break. We are just going to do a quick little video today going over one little extension to our lesson about ratios. And so we're going to talk in our video today about ratio tables. So just as a quick review, a ratio, like we talked about in class today, is a comparison of two quantities, okay? And remember, we can write a ratio three different ways. We can write it in word form, so we can say 4 to 6. We can write it in what we call ratio form, which is 4 with a colon and then a 6. And then we can write it in fraction form, so that just like we see it right there, 4 over 6. Okay, so that's just a quick review of what we talked about in class today about ratios. Okay, so here's an example of a ratio table, and this is what we're going to be working with today. So the ratio that we are going to be using is we're going to be using a ratio of horses to trailers, okay? And our unit rate is 3 to 1, okay? Remember, unit rate is another term that we talked about today. So we are going to be comparing for every 3 horses, 1 trailer. So we're going to put that unit rate in our first column there. So for every 3 horses, we have 1 trailer. And so a ratio table is basically a way to organize equivalent ratios. So ratios that are equal to each other. And so remember, the way that we find an equivalent ratio is that we can find it by multiplying or dividing. We're just going to be talking about multiplying today. But we find equivalent ratios by multiplying both terms that are in the ratio, okay, by the same number. And that gives us an equivalent ratio. So in this case, let's do a little practice, okay? So our unit rate is 3 to 1. So right now we have 1 trailer, and so because we have 1 trailer, we have 3 horses, okay? Well, what if we had 2 trailers, okay? If we had 2 trailers, that means we have double the amount of trailers, so that means we need to double our amount of horses. So if we have 2 trailers, then we're going to have 6 horses, okay? Because we're starting with 3 horses, but if we double that, we're going to get 6. What if we tripled our amount of trailers, and we have 3 trailers now? Then we would triple our amount of horses, which would be 9 horses, okay? What if we quadrupled our number of trailers? Quadruple our horses would be 12. Okay, and finally, if we had 5 trailers, then we would have 15 horses. Okay, we have simply multiplied, okay, each one of our columns by the same number. So in that second column, we multiplied by 2. In the third column, we multiplied by 3. In the fourth column, we multiplied by 4. And the fifth column, we multiplied by 5. Okay, and that is how we got our equivalent ratios. Okay, let's take a look at one more and do a little practice. Okay, so here we have a partially completed ratio table. And again, we are comparing horses to trailers, and our unit rate is 4 to 1. Okay, our unit rate is always going to be the 2 numbers that are at the beginning of the ratio table. So we have 4 horses for every 1 trailer. So we need to fill in those last 2 numbers, those last 2 boxes. And so we're just going to do the same thing that we did in our last ratio table. So what if we had 1.5 trailers, okay? If we had 1.5 trailers, okay, means we multiplied that 1 times 1.5, so we need to do the same thing to the top. So 4 times 1.5 gives us 6. Okay, what if we had 2 trailers, okay? Since we have 2 trailers, then we're going to have 8 horses because we're multiplying those 4 horses by 2, and that gives us 8. So why don't you go ahead and fill in those last 2 boxes? Okay, if we had 3 trailers and if we had 4 trailers, how many horses would we have in both of those cases? Okay, good job. So hopefully you discovered, hang on just real quick. So in that first column, we multiplied by 1.5. Second column, we multiplied by 2. So in that third column, hopefully you multiplied by 3 and got 12. And in that last one, you multiply by 4 and you get 16. Okay, so we started with a unit rate of 4 to 1. Okay, and then we completed our ratio table by multiplying by a different number in each column. Okay, but we multiply both of the numbers in the unit rate by the same number. Okay. All right, we're going to do 2 more ratio tables, and you actually are going to fill them out. Okay, so let's get started on the first one. All right, in this one, we are going to be comparing centimeters to meters. So I need you to take a minute, and I need you to draw out this ratio table. I'm going to be checking this in your notes tomorrow. You need to have this drawn out, okay, and you are going to compare, okay, centimeters to meters. Your unit rate is 100 to 1, 100 centimeters to 1 meter. So go ahead and pause the video and complete this ratio table. Okay, let's take a look at what you guys did. So your second column, okay, let's just review. First of all, your unit rate is 100 to 1. So your second column, you should have multiplied by 2 and gotten 200 centimeters to 2 meters. Third column, you should have multiplied by 3. Next one, you should have multiplied by 4. And then the final one, you should have multiplied by 5. So your ratio table should look like this. Okay, one last opportunity to practice. Here's our last ratio table we're going to look at today. You're going to compare ounces to pounds. So just like the last one, go ahead and pause the video, create your ratio table, and fill it out. All right, good job. So let's take a look. For every 1 pound, we have 16 ounces. So for 2 pounds, we should have 32 ounces. 4 pounds, 64 ounces. 8 pounds, 128 ounces. And 16 pounds, 256 ounces. All right, great job, guys. So your assignment tonight, besides your notes that you should have been taking, are 3 practice problems that you're going to do on page 280. It's problems 1, 2, and 3. Hope you guys have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, 6th grade.